on Saturday. Khaby Lame, the most followed person on TikTok, I think he's got something like 162 million followers, which is just mind-boggling to think about. He was arrested by ICE agents and deported out of the United States. And this guy is a multi-millionaire. He is world famous, as I said, 162 million followers, and if he can be arrested and deported, no one is safe. And the start when this news first came out, we didn't actually know if it was true because Khaby, who's originally from Senegal, well, he is a citizen of Italy and that's where he is believed to be living. So why he's getting deported from the United States? Bit of a strange one. And the community notes even came through and they're like, this is a complete lie. Turns out the community notes was wrong because ICE have now confirmed to multiple media outlets that they did in fact detain Khaby, and they said in a statement to the AFP and Men's Journal, U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement detained Khaby Lame, 25, a citizen of Italy, June 6, at the Harry Reid International Airport, Las Vegas, Nevada, for immigration violations. Lame entered the United States on April the 30th and overstayed the terms of his visa. Lame was granted voluntary departure June 6 and has since departed the United States. And here's the interesting part about all of this, because the news was not only broken by Bo Loudon, who, if you don't know, is a good friend of Barron Trump, Trump's son, and is one of those people who played a major part in Trump's social media strategy when he was running for re-election. So yeah, not only did he break this news on Twitter, but Bo was the person who actually tipped off the Department of Homeland Security and I guess got him deported. He said in a tweet, I discovered that he was illegal who overstayed an invalid visa, evaded taxes, and I personally took action to have him deported. And then he ended the tweet with, no one is above the law. So I decided to reach out to Bo and ask him a few questions like, how did he find out that, Khaby Lame was on an invalid visa? And secondly, why would he take it upon himself to get him deported? And so, if I have the interview, let's play that now, Alex. So we did actually get the interview, guys, just letting you know. Bo, as I mentioned, is the person that broke the news. Like, how did you know about the whole Khaby Lame thing? Like, how did you know that he was overstaying his visa?
So he had worked with a few of my friends, so my business partners. They worked with him and he was on one of their companies. Basically, they just told me, his visa was revoked 3 years ago, yet he's come back to the US 49 times on a revoked visa. He was making money in the United States, and many people were saying that he was signing contracts under different names and sending money back to Senegal. So he was like in the country, evading taxes, and on a revoked visa for 3 years. I just called some buddies in the administration, and I've never seen anything happen so quick. They were like, we're going to get right on this. They actually gave him until June 1st to self-deport, but he didn't do that either. He wanted to stay because he had other contracts signed to attend things in the United States, one of which I was at. There was the Beautiful Game, it was called, with a bunch of celebrity soccer players and things like that, and Khaby was supposed to be there, signed contracts to be there. But that was the day before he got deported, because that was June 6th. Past June 1st, he was still in the United States on a revoked visa. He didn't self-deport, so they went and picked him up in Vegas as he was in the airport to head to Miami for that event.
They said that they arrested him at the airport, so I assumed he was trying to leave, but he was actually coming to that event, was he?
He was going to Miami. Miami, yes.
So he had no intention of leaving either?
No, he's been very stubborn. That's why I said they gave him until June 1st. If he would have just flown out of the country before June 1st, he would have been totally fine. He wouldn't have to talk to ICE, nothing. He'd be fine. But he didn't do it for whatever reason. I guess it's because he signed other contracts. ICE went and picked him up, and they were going to do it sooner, but he was moving around a lot. He was like in New York, then Vegas, then wherever. So he was moving around a lot.
Damn. So they detained him at the airport. Then they took him to, I believe it was Henderson Detention Center. That's kind of like just towards the outside of Vegas. I'm assuming they kept him there for a little bit. I asked him a few questions and stuff, and then he was allowed to leave himself.
Yeah, that's the thing. If it's a case like this, he's not like a MS-13 or something. So they're not going to forcibly remove him. They gave him the option to self-deport. I'm told, I think his attorney called immediately and said, booked you a flight to Canada. I'm pretty sure they escort him to the gate and stuff like that. But when I first posted it, everybody was calling me a liar and saying there's no official proof. And then I posted the screenshot from the website saying Khaby Lame is being held at, I think it was Henderson County in Nevada. Everybody was still calling it a lie because when they searched it, it was not coming up. And I'm like, well, the reason that is because it only shows when they're being held and while they're being processed. But that doesn't mean they were never held.
I was going to say, because that was the first thing that I saw. And I saw the community notes and everything coming up and I was like, okay, this is a bit strange. And then the next day, when it was finally confirmed and they sent out the statement to all of the different medias that were contacting them, and they gave confirmation, I was like, Community Notes got that one real wrong. Do you happen to know what visa he was on that like he initially got accepted for, or no?
It was an agency visa, but him and that agency parted ways, like I said, 3 years ago. And so he was still on that agency's visa, though, without their permission. After he got his visa revoked by that agency, instead of going and finding a different one, he just stuck on that visa that he wasn't allowed to be on. And so that's just completely and utterly breaking the law. He was in this country working illegally. And not only that, but he was sending money that's paid for by his followers or American tax dollars, things that go through our system, and he was sending it back to his home country. No one can be above the law.
Also, one thing that you said in your tweet, you said he was a far left TikToker, and bro, I've never even heard the guy speak, let alone say anything political. So why are you calling him a far left TikToker?
I'm not sure if I don't watch a lot of his content, to be completely honest with you. I'm not sure if he's posted about it. I've seen a lot of videos of him saying like some pretty difficult things, many of which he just really does not like President Trump. And I'm sure he hates him much more now. So that's why I posted, far left TikToker.
Interesting. So I don't know if you've heard much beyond what happens now, but do you know if he I'm assuming it's going to be very difficult for him to get back in to the US.
I'm sure he's going to try and come back on a different, company visa or something. Problem is, he really messed himself up because he could have self-deported by June 1st and then coming back would be much easier. But now that he didn't do that, it's going to be really hard for him to come back. I wish him the best of luck. I hope he's able to come back as a law-abiding citizen. Anybody immigrating to the United States. I have friends that have been in the United States for 10 years and they maybe worked 5 years to come here legally, and it was a very long and grueling process versus the other guys that just walk all over it. And it's not fair to them. Someone who put all that time and effort to do something legal and to follow our laws and appreciate our country. I want to look out for the little guys, the people that follow our laws, respect our country, appreciate it and its values, and don't abuse